We're live. Yo, what's happening, people? It's your boy Michael, and welcome to Griggs Talks, where we talk all things sports. And today, I know we usually talk about Premier League and Man United, but today we're taking a little trip from England and Manchester. We're going all the way to Italy, where we're going to talk all things Serie A. So to talk all things Serie A, I figured let me bring in a good friend, new friend of mine, Mo from Ever Found Inter Worldwide. I've heard you talk. You look very knowledgeable. You sound very knowledgeable. I know you're one of the biggest Inter fans in the content business. So I figured let's bring you in. So welcome to the channel. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks you, brother, for the invite. It is great to be here on your channel, and thanks for everybody that is watching this. It's great to have you all here, and it's great to be with Michael here. And it's a growing channel, so the guy knows, and we're gonna try to bring you the best show that you watch today. Serie A in, and we're in for a great season.
Yes, sir. Serie A, it's on the rise, people. Don't worry about it. I know everyone's Premier League. Premier League's the best league in the world, but if there's any league that's going to be second in the world to the Premier League, it is Serie A. And they used to be the best league in the world back in the 2000s, but stuff happens. But yeah, so I figured, obviously, with Mo being an Inter fan, what other team better to start with than Inter Milan? Second place last year after winning the Scudetto the year before. And the first thing I want to ask, actually, the first thing I want to ask you, who's your favorite Inter player of all time?
It's Zanetti of all time because of loyalty. But the best player I watched to play football at Inter is Ronaldo, the phenomenon, of course.
Yeah, I think I started watching Inter around 2006 7. So when Zlatan was there, Adriano, who's obviously one of the biggest what ifs in
Yeah.
football. If that stuff didn't happen to him, but that
I'm
guy's
not a
one of
big
the
fan
best.
of Zlatan at all. Even when he was at Inter,
Mm,
people were like praising him, and I said this is not a big game player. And we're gonna have a talk about it later, but not now.
yeah.
But I never liked the guy since he was
Mm,
at Ajax, since he was at Juventus. I never
mm.
liked him, and I'm not just saying that because as AC Milan fan, I have friends to back me on this. That I said in 2008, this guy has to go if we are to win anything in a big like Champions League. He left, we won the Champions League.
That's very true. You know what? When Barca, they after a six tuple, they didn't win anything. He left. They won another treble or stuff like that. So yeah,
Exactly. Yeah,
history is not
it's
on his
just the
side.
facts. I know that people like to praise Latan and everything because of the physique at a 40 years old, but in my opinion, it's okay. He did it in Italy in Inter when after Calciopoli. He did it at Juventus before he was a little bit youngster, but he did it at Inter where nobody was challenging Inter. Honestly, he did it in 2011 at Milan. That was the one I give him. That only title is the one I give him. But other than this, I think the guy is just he is overhyped, big guy that can has lots of talent, but I think for some reason he just didn't show up in big games, in my opinion.
That's a fair point. But yeah, back to current day Inter. First thing I want to ask, obviously, the return of Romelu Lukaku, the loan business to Chelsea, where you guys honestly pulled Chelsea's pants down over the last couple of years. You first sold him for 100 million euro pounds. I don't know the exact fee, and then you obviously get him back the year after on the loan. And I think it's probably a 2 year loan now. I think Daily Mail said last a couple of days ago that he's probably going to stay there next year. So I wanted to ask you, um, how do you feel about the return of Lukaku? Did you think that you really missed him last year?
We did. We missed the speed. We missed the big body. We missed the guy that can run our defenses because Lautaro is in it. Dzeko is in it. Korea a little bit speed, but he was injured most of the season. We missed Lukaku. He is, to be honest, for me, he's the number one reason. Okay, the number two after Antonio Conte that we won the Scudetto in the year before. So, to me, I was so happy that he's back. I don't care how much money we paid for that loan, and I don't care if he leaves the year after next year. All I care about is one thing: that he's here. It's here and now. Let him score goals. Let him cook with Lautaro Martinez and Correa and the forwards. And I think we are favorite with Lukaku. Only Lukaku coming back makes us favorites to win the Scudetto again.
Interesting. Yeah, my thoughts on Lukaku. Obviously, at Inter, he sold me a dream because the 2 years ago in when he won the Scudetto, he was the best player in Serie A. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he won the MVP that year of the Serie A. He was incredible. He earned the world class shots that he got, top five striker in the world. Obviously, the Chelsea move did not work. At first, I thought it was Lukaku, but right now it's showing that it was more than Lukaku and more on Tuchel. But that's for another discussion for a different day. But strictly with Inter, she was really important. And I know I love Dzeko. like he's one of the. I said yesterday on Twitter, he's one of the most underrated strikers in the last decade, in my opinion. But he is on the older side, and you did miss that just that outlet that you had with Lukaku and just the way that he runs at defenses, especially in Serie A, because the league just fits him more. For certain players, a certain league fits you, and for Serie A, that league is made for Lukaku, and he showed that the 2 years that he was there. So I'm interested to see what happens. Him and Lautaro were one of the best striker partnerships that we saw the last couple of years. So we'll see what happens. And also with Lautaro, do you think that having Lukaku back will make him? I know last year he had like he had some patches and stuff. He still put up good numbers, but do you think that you'll see him back to his 2021 best?
I think we see Lautaro consistently. The difference is the weight is off his shoulders now because Lukaku's there. So I think we see Lautaro consistently scoring goals. We see Lautaro getting involved more in the game as he had a really rough patch between the two Salernitana games, about 2 months. But I think this year with Lukaku being there, the supporting cast, I think this is Lautaro's year. By the way, it's not Lukaku's year. In my opinion, this is Lautaro's year. This is the year where Lautaro shines. This is the year where Lautaro gets that above £100 million mark. I think this is it for Lautaro. This year, I think Lautaro puts in 20 goals or something. I think this is his year because I think with Lukaku back, he has a big chance. Because last year he scored 18 goals or something, but without even the support with the patches as you mentioned, Michael. So I think this year is going to be a big year for the kid. This is the year where he breaks into the top strikers in the world. So I think it's his year.
Interesting. Also, you have World Cup factor, and Argentina are one of the favorites now, so he's going to be a big part of that. So the confidence could be oozing if they do really well in World Cup. So yeah, just that. Another player, one of my favorite midfielder in Serie A, Nicola Barella. That kid is absolutely amazing. Obviously, I think he was somewhat linked with Liverpool. I never really bought into that. I think he's more of a guy that stays in Serie A for his life. I heard you and Gris talk about. I think was it the Skriniar Barella. So I wanted to ask you, like, why do you think that Skriniar is more important to Milan than Barella?
Listen, bro. Milan Skriniar is irreplaceable. There is nobody that can replace him. In my opinion, now in a back three, Skriniar is the best defender in a back three in the world. He's probably better than Rudiger, in my opinion. And I know that Premier League fans would disagree with me, but based on what I see, he is better than Rudiger. And I watch both teams consistently. Inter being my team, and me doing the work with the Premier League stuff. So I'm watching both teams. I probably watch 30 games for Chelsea and every game for Inter. So I'm seeing both, and I think Skinner is different. Barella, though, an energizer bunny in the midfield, can run forward, back and forth. He has talent. He assisted last year a lot, and he puts in numbers. But in my opinion, the reason why I say this Skriniar, because I think you can't find another Skriniar. Maybe if you can look, you can find another Barella. In my opinion, you can for the right amount of money in the world. There are a lot of midfielders in the world that are similar, or they can do the same thing. There is like talented. There is Jude Bellingham, Camavinga at Real Madrid. There's a lot of midfielders that can do this job. The difference is there is not a lot of Milan Skriniars in the world. There is a very lack of this fighter center back that can be a captain, that can put in the shit. It's not a lot of them. You can count like 10 center backs in the world, or 5. That probably 3 that were better than Skriniar. If people say it's Van Dijk, Diaz, Rudiger, and I'm saying he is better than Rudiger, and in my opinion, he is better than Diaz. In my opinion, he is irreplaceable. In my opinion, maybe in the system we could have gotten Bremer, who went to Juve,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't have Bremer. So I think if we sell Skriniar, I think it's going to be a struggle, which it looks like it is happening soon. But even though Inzaghi said it's not happening, but I think that if we sell Skriniar defensively, we're going to struggle a little bit. If we get Barella out for 100 million, we might be able to find another midfielder to fill that role, in my opinion.
It's an interesting point. I mean, I do agree with that. Like similar with my club with like the amount of midfielders, like the young and everything. Like a player I think to me that could do somewhat Barella, Maxence Coqueret from Lyon. I think he could kind of do similar stuff to Barella and the Skriniar. I think the game with Skriniar, I followed him, but I think the Liverpool tie last year in Champions League, which I thought Inter played fantastic. It was just unlucky, especially in the first leg. That's the center back performance from like Davide, Skriniar, and who we mentioned a little bit, Bastoni. I thing was incredible. And I do the aggression part that Skriniar does. Like he's just a warrior. So I think he's Slovakian. I'm gonna guess that. I'm pretty sure Slovakian. Like those kind of countries, those center backs are warriors. So Skriniar does epitomize that. And when they do say defense wins titles, so it's very
Yes,
interesting.
that's very important.
Defense
Because
wins
by the way,
championships.
Barella hit a rough patch in the
He
middle of
did. He
last
did
season.
struggle. He
He
did
did
struggle.
struggle a little bit, and but the team was winning. That's in the beginning. It was okay. But if Skriniar struggles, we're in deep troubles, bro. We're in deep troubles.
And the last player, Brozovic, who was set to be a free agent this summer, but he did extend. How crucial is extending Brozovic because he's arguably the best DM in Serie A. So
Listen,
how
my
important is
friend,
that?
Brozovic is the best regista in the whole world. There is nobody. Don't tell me Fabinho. Don't tell me Rodri. I know that Rodri is in. There's a difference when you play in Pep Guardiola, but when you play Brozovic, Brozovic is not the guy who will put in the tackles and chase. Brozovic is the guy who's gonna run the game, the whole game. Rodri doesn't do this. Fabinho doesn't do this. They need a supporting cast around them. Like Thiago runs the game for Liverpool. It's Kevin De Bruyne who runs the game and Bernardo Silva for Liverpool. Brozovic runs the game. If Brozovic is not there, we struggle. But now we have another Brozovic. We have a vice Brozo in Christian Aslani, who I think can do not the same as Brozovic, but he is the closest we can get to Brozovic. So Brozovic extending it filled my heart with joy because he's an unbelievable player. And in my opinion, I know people talk about Skriniar, but it's just a personal opinion. I prefer a player like Brozovic who has fire in him towards his players, towards the referees, towards the other team to be the captain. Because I like the captain to stand up for everybody. I know that Skriniar is the heart of the team now, but I think Brozovic, if you get your midfielder to be the captain, the likes of Pirlo are rare. And if you get them, you have to make them captains.
My best friend who's gonna watch this later is gonna love that because he's Croatian, so he loves Brozovic. He says he's the best DM in the world. So he'll
Yes, there
be.
is nobody in
I
that
love
role
to hear
better than
that.
him, man. There's nobody. Nobody runs more than him. Nobody puts in passes more than him. It's a symbol. And he doesn't play for Liverpool. He doesn't play for Man City. He plays for Inter.
Yeah. And
And
the
we are not
last,
even, I don't think even we are the most possession team in the league.
yeah,
But this guy still puts in enormous numbers.
yeah, he was one of my dream TM targets for United, but I knew he was never gonna leave Inter because he loves Inter, so that's like family to him. So yeah, and then the last player, obviously the big replacement, one of the biggest replacements this summer is the goalkeeper situation. So Samir Handanovic, who was a long time servant of Inter, obviously left this summer, and Andre Onana came in from Ajax. Um,
He hasn't left. He is still at
he
the
hasn't
club
left.
for
Oh
one
my
more
bad,
year.
my bad, my bad research on that. But I do know. I think Onana's taking over the starting position though, from what I'm assuming,
Absolutely
or
not. Inzaghi
he's not.
already
Oh,
came out and said
I should have
Handanovic
done
is going to
research on that.
start. Onana has to ease in.
And his spot.
He already said that Handanovic is gonna start. Handanovic is still the captain at the moment, so nobody's taking that starting position from Handanovic. So he is there and he's not leaving. He extended one more year, and I think it's gonna be an easy transition, a
Hmm.
slow transition. It's the same what happened between Julius Caesar and Toldo back in the 2000s. So I think this is what's gonna happen. But Handanovic comes first game of the season against Lecce. He's starting
Oh, my
unless he
bad.
gets injured.
Yeah. My bad. No, I thought he left off. Bad research on my part for that, but thank you for correcting me on that. Um, yeah, that kind of sums up for Inter. So you said Inter gonna win, so that answers that future question. You said Inter gonna win the Scudetto based on right now. Of course, if Skriniar leaves to Paris Saint Germain in the next couple weeks,
That
then you
changes
think
everything. That
changes
changes
everything.
everything. Everything. In my
All
opinion,
right.
changes everything. We might. I'm telling you, Skriniar leaves, you might be even fourth or third, not even
Uh,
second.
Obviously, with Bremer going to Juventus, do you have an idea of a replacement potentially for Skriniar, or do you think that Inter
They
won't
are
address
talking
it?
about Milinkovic and Acerbi to come to Inter, which is I like Milinkovic, but he's not Skriniar. And I dislike Acerbi, and I don't think he's a good player at all. I think he's
Mhm,
okay going forward, can cross. I don't think he's a good defender at all, in my
mhm.
opinion. He's not even a top six defender. And I know that Lazio fans would disagree, but I think he doesn't have the attributes, he doesn't have the capabilities, and he's an aging center back. So, but I don't run the club. It's Zhang and Marotta. So
Alright. Okay, so moving on from Inter, we're going to the crosstown rivals, AC Milan, which are my favorite Serie A club back in the day. I watched Kaká destroy Manchester United, and when you like see when you see someone dominate your team, and you just have to like stand up and just clap them because you're like, wow, what Kaká did that day made me fall in love with him. Andrea Pirlo, all them players back then, with Milan, and last year finally they came back on top after a rough decade of theirs due to financials and all that, but they're finally back on top. Their summer though has not been impressive. Would you agree with like how bad their summer has been, considering they are the defending Serie A champions?
It's very strange to me that AC Milan, Frank Kessia left on a free transfer to go to Barcelona, and they haven't replaced him yet. And you only have Tonali and Ismail Ben Nasser, which is kind of strange, because you have Bakayoko and other cast and Krunic, but I don't think they're enough. They haven't signed anybody other than Origi on a free transfer, but you already had Zlatan, who Milan extended 1 year, and you already have Giroud. So what is Origi doing there? Is he coming to replace these guys? Yes, these guys are old, and you need another forward, but maybe there are other areas on the field that they could have signed, and I'm not sure if they can replicate what happened. What happened last year is odd, because it was only Inter battling them in the last 10 games, and the mistake that Rado did gave them the Scudetto. And they to be honest, they were monsters, Milan, when they won these last 7 games of the season, because nobody expected them to win these last 7 games, but they did. But I'm not sure if this is going to happen, especially the squad is thinning. It's not
Mhm.
Romagnoli is leaving now, and now Kessia. So where are the replacement? I don't know. They're talking about youngsters, but as of now, if you tell me the squad now that they have, they might not even make top four, in my opinion, which is strange. But Pioli can do magic with the
Mhm.
tools he has. So Milan, there is nothing to summarize in this summer. It's like Frankesia left, Romagnoli left. These are the important players, and they brought in Divock Origi. Everybody else, they redeemed Junior Messias, Florenzi, they redeemed. But other than this, they were already players there. So I'm not sure why there is like the kid, then how the Hauge left, but otherwise, like nothing happening, and we're 3 weeks away from the season start. So preseason already starting. Milan are playing right now. It's kind of strange a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously last year their
Oh,
best play.
Castillejo left as well.
Oh, yeah, their right wing situation is incredible to see how bad it is, because I think what is it was well, Casejo was playing, Brahim Diaz sometimes played over there. Um,
It's Junior
uh,
Messias is gonna play next year.
yeah, Messias
Roberts.
Salamakers played there a
Mm.
couple times. But obviously, on the other wing, they do have one of the best players in Serie A, and someone that kind of rose up to his levels last year. And Rafael Leao, I bought some stocks in him last year. I think he's crucial for Portugal's chances in the World Cup if Fernando Santos wants to play any kind of young forwards at any point in his life, which would be nice. But Rafael Leao, obviously, with Milan's, like you said, their squad thinning, do you think that it ups the pressure on Leao to replicate and even improve what he did last year? Because last year he was that impressive. This year it seems like he might have to even do more.
I would actually think that Rafael Leao should leave Milan. It doesn't look like they're investing in the club. I don't see a project, and I think Rafael Leao, for the better of him as a player, he should have asked for a transfer. But the money they're asking for is like 70, 80 million, and nobody came for this, or 100 million, and nobody came with that offer. There is no pressure on any player at Milan, because there are no expectations. When you don't buy players, when you don't invest in the squad and leaving people to leave on free transfers, like Inter now, they brought Mkhitaryan, they brought Lukaku back. You know what I mean? They brought like Gosens now are fully redeemed. He's gonna play at Inter. They brought Belanova. They brought Aslani. Now there is Onana. Now there is pressure. Now you're talking. Oh, there's pressure on this club. But Milan pressure. What pressure? Pressure to win a Scudetto again. That was a fluke, as people say. So I thought they would have built on this. They would have
Mhm.
signed more players. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
now they're playing Champions League. They're top seeded in Champions League. They have a great chance to go to the round of 16. And even when you're top seeded, you're not going to be paired with somebody big. You can have a chance to go even deeper in the Champions League. So they didn't invest. I'm not sure what is happening behind the scenes for Milan, but for the sake of the club, I think they should invest because you have to build on the Scudetto. So Inter, when they sold Lukaku and Hakimi, that was not building. And Conte
Mhm.
leaving last season, that was not building on your winning Scudetto. And what happened? I know Inter won the cup and won the Supercoppa, but they lost the Scudetto. And even though it was a very good squad, they said Korea came, Zeko came, but at the end, you lost your two most influential players of the season before. And Milan, as of now, they haven't. Like, they need a right winger. They need another midfielder, and they need a center back because they say Tomori and Kayer, who is injury prone, is going to start in the back. Kalulu, you need another center back. They need
Yeah,
another left back
Theo.
for Theo Hernandez. So, in my opinion, they need to invest heavily in the club, but it does not look like it's happening.
I mean, I think right now they're linked to Charles Catalier from Club Rouge. That's been like a transfer that's been going on for a month. And obviously, the Renato Sanchez, they were favorites to get him, but PSG swooped in, and I think that deal's getting close to getting done. So we'll see with Milan. But I do agree, the investing part is strange because, like you said, the Champions League and Milan are UCL heritage. So you would think that if they could get to the round of 16, like we saw Real Madrid, what they did last year, just based off like their experience and their heritage and just
Ah,
UCL.
but you're not gonna compare Ismail
No,
Ben
no, no.
Nasser
Well,
to
I'm not
Tony
saying they're gonna
Cruz and
win.
Casemiro. This is different.
I'm not
And
saying
they
they're
have
gonna win, but
Ancelotti.
they
Yeah.
could have finessed like maybe like a quarterfinal spot. In that round of 16, they could have caused an upset just based on, like the UCL night at the San Siro. You never know what could happen. Anything, football is magic. Anything can happen in football. That's what I like to say. But
Not with this squad, bro. Now, maybe I'm mistaken, but on paper, all I'm talking
yeah,
is on paper.
mhm,
It might not happen. They don't have the force to do it, in my opinion.
yeah. And moving on from Milan. So right now, you said if they're on current pace without any additions, do you think they'll finish outside the top four? Or do you think that Pioli's
They
good
might
enough to
finish
get them
fourth because nobody
fourth?
else is strengthened.
Okay. And moving on from the third place team last year, which I'm pretty sure Napoli finished third, barely ahead of Juventus. They lost their best player in Khalidou Koulibaly. He went to Chelsea. Napoli summer, I think they're the team that's most favored to fall at the top four to adjust for a team we'll talk in a little bit. What do you make of Napoli's summer so far, briefly?
I don't know most of the players they bought, in my opinion. They only like I don't know most of them. They got a center back from Fenerbahce. They got someone from La Liga, left back, but to play for Mario Rui. I think still Spalletti, Osimhen. Oh, they lost Insigne as well.
Wednesday, he went to Toronto. Yeah,
Yeah, so in my opinion, still Spalletti. I trust Spalletti, but losing Insigne and Koulibaly is kind of a big deal. But I think their midfield as of now, Zelensky,
they did redeem
Nguisa, Luis,
Anguissa. Yeah,
yeah, Fabio. Is I think they have very, very good midfielders, Lobotka as well. So I think they have very good midfielders. So the forward line is, I think, Osimhen can cover it. Can someone replace Koulibaly? I don't know, but in my opinion, they still have a decent squad that should make top four. The starting 11 they have should make top four, but it looks like they were busy in the summer window and they are brought in players to replacement right away for Koulibaly. They need they brought out a left winger as well, but it's still that squad was not good enough to push at the end of the season. They weren't good enough to do it, so I think they're gonna struggle again this season to challenge for the Scudetto, and I think they're gonna be there and there about for the top four, but I don't see anybody other than, to be honest, it's gonna be a battle between Roma, Milan, and Napoli for the last two positions after Inter and Juventus. That's based on the here and now.
yeah,
That's based on what they have today. The market is still open until end of August. You don't know what is gonna happen, but for now, I think this is how how it's looking. To be honest,
yeah. I mean, I'm saying Napoli. Like my favorite player, Koulibaly. Obviously, I think that's a massive loss because he was arguably one of the best center backs in Serie A last year. I think based on match rating, he was the best. But Matt, that's the eyes tell some might tell different for some people. And he was just like he was a leader of Napoli. He symbolized Napoli with like his passion. Obviously, winning the AFCON with Senegal inspired him even more to play better. This was like his best year since 18-19. So it'll be interesting to how they replace him. Insigne was kind of like the symbolizement of the attack. He was Mr. Napoli in that aspect. So that's another big miss as well. Osimhen, hopefully he can stay fit. That's the big question with Osimhen is can he stay fit? And if he can, he could score like a 20 plus goal season because he is that good. He is a £100 million striker for a reason. Whether a team will pay that next year, we'll see. But it'll be interesting with Napoli. And then moving on to Juventus, obviously some might call them the biggest winners of the summer transfer window because they did bring back ex-Manchester United midfielder Paul Pogba, who also got injured over the weekend. He has a torn meniscus. Maybe they're
He's gonna
still
be
getting.
out. He's gonna be out for a long time.
So
Is
obviously
they
that's a big loss right away.
they took the risk on Pogba, in my opinion, and it didn't pay off. So I think it's a big loss for Serie A to not have Pogba playing. I know I'm an Inter fan, and I didn't want it, but I never wish injury on anybody, and it's a terrible injury. He had a knee injury in meniscus is not great at all. So I think they still have a very, very, very good squad, in my opinion. Bringing in Di Maria is something. If Di Maria is a top notch player, in my opinion. So they brought Bremer, and now Chiesa is gonna come back to the picture, and they are in talks to get Firmino from Liverpool. And I don't think it's gonna happen though. But I think Bremer
Di
and Di
Maria.
Maria are big, and having they brought a left back as well in Cambiasso to replace Alexandro from Genoa.
That guy's
But I
so bad.
think they have a very, very good squad to challenge. Now Zakaria is integrated in the squad. I think now McKennie is still there, and Locatelli now integrated. They're trying to ship. I'm not sure if they're gonna ship Arthur now away,
Mhm.
but Pogba's injury is a big loss for them. They lost Dybala, which is they just lost 10 goals at least a season if he's fit. But they have
Vlahovic
Vlahovic
for
now
for
integrated.
for the full
There
season.
is
Yeah.
integrated now. Uh, Chiesa coming back. I think they have a very, very scary squad. Losing Collini though is losing the leadership on the team, and that's a big deal. So you might wanna, in my opinion, we still need to like have this talk about Juventus. But I think if Inter lose Skriniar, I think Juventus are going to be favorites to win Scudetto. It's kind of a awkward conversation that Inter have to have with themselves about, do we really, after gifting them one of the best center backs in the league in terms of Bremer, not submitting the right bid and waiting all this time, are we really gonna get rid of our best center back? That brings them to be favorites to the title, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, with me, the biggest problem with Juventus isn't even their squad; it's their manager. Like, I respect Allegri for what he did in his first reign, where he was winning consecutive Serie A's. Obviously, the league wasn't as strong as I think it is now. Albeit he did have a couple of challenges, but the guy does play fossil football. It is very boring to watch. And I was gonna watch more of Juve, obviously with Pogba and Di Maria. Di Maria is one of my favorite right wingers of the last decade. Even though the United stint didn't work out, but that's for a different discussion. But he's beautiful to watch. He Messi and Ronaldo have some things to thank for him for legacies because he won that Copa America last year and he was the best player in La Decima in that final. So he's clutch player. That's one thing with Di Maria. He'll turn up when it matters most. So him, Chiesa, Vlahovic is an exciting front three on paper, but and they've looked pretty good in preseason. They haven't looked that bad. With the midfield, I follow a couple Juventus accounts on Twitter. They're very big on their youth. With I'm not really good with their names yet. Miretti, I think, is one of them. Uh, those promising prospects. So maybe one of those kids can get like shoehorned into like the deep end if Pogba's out for an extended period. I've also
Yeah.
heard a couple rumblings that they might go for Savic, but those are small rumors right now. I think it came up yesterday. So do you think that Lazio would ever sell Savic to Juventus right now in this late in the summer?
Say that again.
Do you think that Lazio would like sell Savic to Juventus this late in the summer?
Yeah, they might. Yes, with the
But
right amount of money, Lotito. But Lotito doesn't like Juventus. So, but Juventus, I'm not sure if they are ready to offer big money for him, but I think they can. But I think, in my opinion, Milinkovic Savic shifts the scale right away. Milinkovic Savic makes him favorites, even with Inter keeping Skriniar. Milinkovic Savic is massive in Serie A. Is absolutely a big player that can change games, in my opinion. So Milinkovic Savic is big. I hope he doesn't go to Juventus.
yeah, and I don't know if you watched the game last night when they played against Barcelona, but The fullbacks are an issue because Danilo and Alexandro as your fullbacks in 2022 is. I know Danilo is like a decent player, but Alexandro is the guy's
He's
just rated on.
declining. Yeah,
He's
he's
rated on
declining.
FIFA. That's about it. Because in real life, what Dembele did to him yesterday was Lord have mercy, because he absolutely destroyed him. Even
Yeah,
though
but that's
Dembele does that,
Dembele though.
it does that to every player, but it just looked even worse for Alexandro. So
Yeah, yeah.
it'll be interesting to see. I think that's the next. Maybe not this. Maybe in the winter if they want to spend money, but I think they do
But
have
that's
to
why they
address.
got Cambiaso. They got the kid Cambiaso.
So, yeah, so we'll see. Maybe I hope he does. He has like an impact. 'Cause, I don't want to watch Alexandro. Respectfully to him, that's just I don't like seeing declining players on the pitch because it's just terrible, especially with fullbacks. Because I love attacking fullbacks in the modern day. It's why I loved watching Inter with Hakimi because that kid was bombing up and because he was bombing
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
down, and Gosens Diab now as well. So it'll be interesting. But I do agree with you. I think Juve should be favorites for top two right now, and if Allegri's a winner in Serie A, he has proven that he can win. So I wouldn't count them out for that title. And they could somewhat get their dominance back, even though I don't want that to happen because it was boring watching them win Serie A after Serie A after Serie A. Very repetitive. And then in fifth place, I think they finished fifth. The reigning Conference League champions, AS Roma, who we talked about Dybala. He has gone to AS Roma. He is the thumbnail picture because that picture was very cold. The introduction yesterday was amazing to see. Roma is very passionate, and I hope that he does bring them success because who knows what will happen in that city if he were to win them like a Europa League or something. That'd be massive. But Roma have Jose Mourinho. Obviously, you know how great of a manager Mourinho used to be. He did win the treble. Obviously, now I've seen the worst parts of Jose Mourinho on my club. I've seen with the worst parts with United, but he does seem to have like regained a little bit of magic at Roma. And one thing I've said is Mourinho in this day, I think Roma is a perfect club for him because he works with players that will fight for him. Like at United, you got a lot of big players that might not want to fight at sometimes because they focus on other things. At Roma, I watched that Conference League finals and that Conference League final, and those players were willing to die on that pitch for Jose, and that's what Jose needs in the squad. With Inter, that treble-winning team, all 11 players on that pitch would have died for Mourinho. Zanetti, Cambiaso, Eto, Schneider, Milito, Julio Cesar, Maicon, all those players. And I think at Roma, he's found that. So, and I've seen you mention the second year Mourinho. Second year Mourinho is special. He's won titles everywhere he's gone in the second year, except for his last two stints. Um, do you think that the second year Mourinho magic will happen at Roma this year?
In terms of winning Scudetto, no.
No, no, not
But
Scudetto. Maybe like a Europa League or a Coppa Italia.
he might be able to win Europa League. Adding Matic is a big deal for him in the midfield, and having Dybala. I think Dybala will work really, really well with Tammy up front, and I think Mourinho is now the players are used to his system and the way he does things. So I think their summer was not bad at all. Having Dybala and Matic is just big pieces in the puzzle, and the problem is going to happen if they get rid of Zaniolo. If Zaniolo goes to Juventus, I'm worried about that. But I think this is not bad at all. This is not a bad Roma side that can challenge for top four. And I trust Mourinho, and I think they are. I think they come fourth over Napoli, in my opinion. Probably they come fourth. It's going to be Inter, Juventus, maybe Milan, and Roma this year. This is what I think. I know that I said Napoli are there, but I think it's going to be Napoli, are gonna be in the mix. I don't think they're gonna fall like what happened last year. So I think they're gonna be in the mix.
Yeah. Also, they're having a full year of Spinazzola because obviously he had the ACL injury last year, so that's a full
Yeah,
year.
imagine that. Imagine that.
So he was excited. He was amazing to watch at the Euros, and that ACL injury was terrible for him. So I'm sure Mourinho is gonna be ready to have a full season of Spinazzola. Like you said, he's integrated the squad. Matic is a player that he's had obviously at Chelsea and at United. He's the reason Matic went to United, or otherwise we would have had Fabinho. That pisses me off
Yeah,
to this day. But yeah, but Matic is, especially at Serie A, obviously the Premier League wore a little bit on his legs, but in Serie A the league is a little slower, so he'd be able to fit much better, and he knows how to work with Mourinho. So it'd be interesting. Also, they kept Pellegrini. I think there was like maybe earlier in the window there might have been a couple rumors for him, but they did keep their captain, and he was amazing last year. It was really good to
yeah.
see those free kicks that he scored, especially against the Juventus, Lazio, and the Rome derby was very nice. So I'm interested in Mourinho. I really hope he does. because with Jose, like I hated him a little bit after United because of what happened, like the style of football and everything. But I've always loved Jose. Like I've always chosen if I said if one game to win any manager in history of football, I'm taking Jose. Like
Yeah,
just
one game, the guy is brilliant. He prepares
he
good for games.
which is why Spurs when Spurs fired him before a cup final was very interesting to say the least. But yeah, and I love that he won the conference again. I'm interested to see what he does. I'll like he's gotten his like underdog status a little bit back, and Jose loves being the underdog. Worked with him at
Yeah,
Inter, worked with him at Porto, especially that's how he built his reputation. So it's nice to see him get his underdog status back instead of being like the top dog. So interesting. And then one other series team I want to talk about, especially was Atalanta, a team I'm very high on, but were very disappointing last year. I thought last year after Inter lost Lukaku and Hakimi, Milan, no one knew what they were going to do last year. Juventus had just lost Ronaldo and Allegri came in. I thought Atalanta might have rise to the challenge and maybe not win the Scudetto, but finish like second with like a couple points off after making UCL round of 16s a couple years in a row. If you remember that game against PSG, they were very close to knocking out PSG in that Champions League. They
yeah,
were
yeah,
a minute away, and they're the hipsters' favorite football team, Atalanta, because the way they play football. Everyone loves the way that they play football. Were you disappointed in the way that they shut up last year from like a
yeah.
neutral perspective?
I thought they're gonna make top four at the end, but they didn't. They. I thought Juventus are gonna miss on top four, but they didn't. So I thought Atalanta something happened after the Champions League exit, and it didn't work for them. Now they lost go since mid-season. Uh, I'm not. They didn't bring anybody. From my understanding, I'm looking at them. They brought Ederson. Ederson from Salernitana is a good midfielder. They already redeemed Demiral and Jeremy Boga, and I think Golini might come back end of loan. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if Spurs are gonna buy him. I don't think so. They're gonna
Now
buy him,
since they
but
signed
that's it.
since they signed Forster, I think they're gonna send him back.
Yeah, exactly. So they signed Forster. So Golini is coming back. So Atalanta haven't strengthened, but they're talking about Pinamonti from Inter. So that's a big thing for the kid if they get him. But they haven't put in an offer that Inter accepted yet, or the kid. So nothing is happening. But they lack depth, and that's what they don't have.
Interesting. I really hope they like. I hope last year was like a fluke for them because I love watching them play football. Their football is very fascinating to watch. It's high risk, high rewarding. Muriel is an amazing player. I thought he was really good last year, especially. He might have been like the one bright spot. Zapata, good striker as well. Meyer is one of my favorite. He's a tactical is favorite, one of my favorite DMs. He's a player I really rate. And since they signed him last year, I thought that might take him up another level too because they signed like that DM, and he's a great passer of the ball. So will be interesting. And then one last thing, Sassuolo, who had an amazing attack last year with Scamacca, Berardi, Raspadori, I forgot Traore, that's his last
Yeah.
name. They did lose Scamacca to West Ham. Were you surprised by that? Did you think that he would like stay in Serie A?
No, I knew the kid would leave. There was PSG talk. Earlier there was Inter talk about him, but I thought he would leave, and West Ham is a great destination for him. So I'm really glad that he went there, and I hope it works out.
Do you think that if Inter hadn't brought back Lukaku, do you think they would have like strengthened their interest in Scamacca and
The
kept him on?
problem is the Sassuolo president only wants cash, and Inter wouldn't
Oh,
pay
yeah,
cash for him.
fair enough. That is fair enough.
So yeah,
And then Berardi, I thought he'd be. I would think that he'd be a player that AC Milan would go for because he's in
yeah.
the league and he's a fantastic right wing, and they were just issues. But obviously, they never got in for him. I don't know why. Maybe the Sassuolo president would like demand extra cash. Maybe Milan don't want similar to Scamacca would enter. They wouldn't pay up that cash potentially. But with losing Scamacca, do you think that they'll probably like fall off a little bit, or do you think that that attack is still good enough to kind of keep them closer to
I don't
your
think so. I'm
spot?
not sure. It depends. There was a talk of Pinamonti again going to Sassuolo. Pinamonti's in talks with everybody from Inter. So I think the I like their coach, Dionisi, and the way he plays football is very good. I like Berardi a lot. I like their midfield, uh, but they don't have the striker now since Kamaka left, and they need to replace him. And if they don't replace him, I think they are now going to be 10th, 11th, something like this, because teams are strengthening. So that's what I think.
Yeah. And then the last two European spots.
They bought some players just in I think
Yeah.
I'm looking at their they bought a center forward in Alvarez from Penarol. They bought Thorsville as a Belgian, sorry, from Belgium, and Enrique. Uh, he played in Serie B in Brazil as a Brazilian. So, but that's not. I think they still need
Yeah.
maybe Pinamonti, but it doesn't look like it because they already paid the money for this guy Alvarez.
And the two European spots, the last one after Roma went to Lazio and Fiorentina. Lazio, second season under Maurizio Sarri. Not too well versed on their summer. Let me check.
Say that again.
With their summer, I haven't really looked at who they brought in.
Who?
Obviously, Romagnoli, Lazio. I know they brought in Romagnoli as a center back from Milan on a free transfer.
Yeah. No, they brought in Maximiano from Granada and two in La Liga too. He's a goalkeeper.
Replaced Tarakosha
Yeah,
from Brentford.
Marcus Antonio is from Shakhtar. That's a very good player, and that just redeems Zakani. So I'm not Lazio are not gonna make top four. This is my opinion. I don't think they're gonna make top four. They're gonna fall off. They might fall behind Fiorentina.
Yeah, Fiorentina last team. Obviously lost Vlahovic last winter, but they did bring in a replacement short term this summer with Luka Jovic, who 4 years ago that kid was destined to look like maybe not a world class striker, but a really good striker. But
Yep.
that move to Real Madrid might have hampered that development. Probably should have never gone there, but he is at Fiorentina now, full season. They looked really good. I remember that Coppa Italia semifinal game against Juve, the first leg, they were all over Juve, and then they were very unlucky to lose on that own goal, which was very stupid. Um, they did get that Conference League spot, so maybe do you see them maybe like going maybe up a spot to Europa League potentially?
Yeah, I see them top six now. I see Fiorentina top six. It's especially with Italiano. I think he takes them to the next thing, in my opinion. And they brought Dodo from Shakhtar, who's a really gave Inter a hard time. He's a right back. He gave Inter because I think Odriozola left, go back to Real Madrid. So I think they are strengthening the Mandragora. He plays for Juventus. They got him from Juventus. He's a defensive midfielder, and Lukajovic on loan. So I think actually they got Golini.
Yeah, on loan.
So that's what I'm looking at. They got Golini. So it looks like the squad is strengthening. Italiano can take them to the next level. I think to top six now.
They're a really good team. I really hope Jovic like bangs like 15, maybe 15 plus goals. Quick comment. Sport Gossip says Sui's going home. Yo, Juventus want Ronaldo. You can have him. Go ahead. That's not my problem. 12 mil and he's yours. You can take his wage package. You can take Georgina, take Cristiano Jr., you can take all. You can take the whole Ronaldo family. Not my problem. Have fun with him. I don't know how he'll fit at Juventus with Vlahovic already there, but and their wage package, that'd be interesting. But yeah, Ronaldo's a different conversation. But yeah, I think that's like all the teams I want to talk about. So
Yeah,
obviously, you said Inter were gonna win. Quick little fun stats prediction. Who do you think will win top scorer in Serie A?
Lautaro.
Lautaro. And then best player.
Lukaku.
Lukaku. So seems like you're backing your team to win the Scudetto 2 and 3
I
years.
back my team all the day, baby. I back my team all
I
the
like
time, baby.
I like that. You know, you should feel confident. You do have most of the team. Somewhat, you got your best player back from the Scudetto winning season, so it'd be
Yeah.
interesting. Um, One thing last on Inter, because there were a couple rumors with Dumfries maybe leaving. Do you think that will go ahead potentially, or do you think that he stays?
I'm not sure, but if he goes, we have Villanova and we're gonna have Darmian. But we need a. I think I would rather Dumfries leave than Skriniar. It's just as simple as this.
Oh, I mean,
I'm not the biggest fan of Dumfries in my opinion.
he's
Like
linked with my
just
club,
my,
so I'll be happy if you guys could keep him because I don't want him. I don't want him at United. No offense to him, he wouldn't fit us because we don't play a back
he's better
five.
than Wan-Bissaka for sure.
Oh, no,
I'm
I know
better
that.
than Diego Dallo. So,
In the back four, though, that's my question with him. I think
but
he's more of a back
both
five.
Wan-Bissaka and Diego Dallo are not good enough. So
That's
No,
true. I don't think
he is a step up from them.
that's fair. I don't, but I think the price that you guys quoted was like 50 million. So I don't think he's
40
a
million.
50.
They're asking for 40 million for him, but it's for a guy with his numbers last year and the way he plays. 40 million now.
He's very good in the air. That's one thing I'll give him. I saw him. His vertical hops are
Yeah.
ridiculous. I remember the Euros with Netherlands. He was jumping over people.
Yes.
But yeah, that's pretty much. I'll give my prediction real quick on who will win. Um, as of right now, I will also back Inter because Milan do not want to strengthen their team right now. If they do somehow get Renato Sanchez and they finally get Charles De Ketelaere over the line, maybe I'll change. But Inter seems strong. Inter handed the title to them last year. As much as Milan won it, it did happen through an Inter mistake. So all that. And for top goal scorer, I'll go Vlahovic. I think Di Maria servicing him will get him the goals, and hopefully Allegri adds a little more attacking sprinkle to his formations and not too much defensive football, please. I beg. And yeah, and Sport also said Napoli they don't have the facilities for that. They don't have the funds for Ronaldo unless he takes an 80% wage cut, maybe 90,
Not
but
happening. Not happening.
it's not happening. But yeah, so thank you more for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
Um,
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was great talking to you. It's a great episode, and like the video if you're watching this.
yeah. Obviously, make sure I know everyone. I know mostly everyone's watching the Liverpool game right now. They are playing against Salzburg, so I'm sure people might watch it on the rewatch later. So if you do watch it later, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Mo, if you want to plug your stuff real quick.
Yeah, I got like Inter Worldwide. If you're interested in content, do Inter Worldwide. If you're a Premier League fan, go to Never a Foul. You'll find us with everything about the Premier League there. So
Yeah, make sure you guys do follow the Never Fall. We all have good friends there. And Cass, obviously, you see me with Cass on Trafford Tunnel every Friday. I think we're recording Friday as well. We're doing at 8 p.m. UK time. I'm pretty sure we're doing a show for preseason because United played 2 preseason games this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. So more content for that. You occasionally see me at Never Foul as well. On sometimes when it happens on the rare occurrence. And then yeah, so make sure you guys follow Mo Enter Worldwide. I want to see. I'm gonna tune into you guys as well. I want to see how if you guys they're confident just like you. Are your contributors there confident as you, or maybe a little more pessimistic?
not everybody, but sometimes. But I am probably confident about my squad.
So yeah. Yeah, so thank you for tuning in. And for me, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Michael_Greeks26 for tweets about anything. Sometimes I speak actual realism. Sometimes I'll troll. It depends. If it fluctuates. And make sure you follow the United Journal where I write for and admin. So I have a couple articles coming out. I have one on Martial, so I'm sure Martial FC and Ty will really appreciate that. He'll probably send me his pillow for Martial because he's the head of Martial FC right now. He's the one accepting the invitations to get into there. And I also have an article on the right wing situation with Anthony and everything because Ajax are bugging out with their 100 million price. I don't know who they think they are, but fair enough to them on that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for everyone tuning in and peace.